About the topic ototoxicity. This topic is for BSc third year. This is from the first unit. So let's see with the overview. Ototoxicity is quite simply ear poisoning. Okay, so the other meaning of ototoxicity means poisoning in the ears or any toxic poisoning in the ears. This results from exposure to drugs or chemicals that damages the inner ear or the vestibulocochlear nerve. Okay, this nerve is responsible for sending the balance and the hearing information from the inner ear to the brain. So, because some patients are taking ototoxic drugs, and these drugs they have the tendency to form toxic poisoning in the ears. So when this happens, the toxic substances will damage the cochlear nerve, the vestibulocochlear nerve, and the inner ears also, and that will lead to hearing loss. So this is about ototoxicity. Let us see more about it. So certain medications or drugs that damages the ear results in hearing loss, ringing in the ears, which is called as tinnitus or balance disorder. These disorders are considered as ototoxic. So because of some specific drugs, okay, they have the tendency to cause toxic substances or it causes toxic poisoning in the ears. So because of that, the patients will have hearing loss, they will have tinnitus and balance disorder. So definition of ototoxicity, it is the damage which is caused by the toxic effects of certain drugs to either cochlear nerve or vestibular nerve or both the parts of the inner ear. So ototoxicity can be temporary or it can be permanent. So there are some drugs which causes ototoxicity permanently or it just causes temporary for a short period. Okay. Now the effect of certain drugs is often temporary. So like I said that some drugs they cause temporary effects and some causes permanent effects. So some drugs they cause either permanent or temporary problems. So there are some ototoxic drugs which causes ear damage and these are as follows: aminoglycoside antibiotics, loop diuretics, cytotoxic drugs like anti-neoplastic drugs or anti-cancer drugs, then anti-protozoal drugs, anti-epileptic drugs or anti-seizure drugs, anti-heparinizing agents, and beta blockers or environmental chemicals. So these are a list of ototoxic drugs which causes ototoxicity in the ears. Now let us see first the aminoglycoside antibiotics. Okay, so all members of this category, that is aminoglycoside antibiotics, they are well known to cause permanent damage or they are known to cause permanent ototoxicity in the ears. Okay, so if these antibiotics are they have entered or these drugs they have entered into the ears, then it causes damage. It causes toxic poisoning, and the inner ear and the nerves are affected. The auditory nerves and the vestibulocochlear nerves are affected. So that will lead to hearing loss or deafness. Some of these drugs are more likely to cause hearing loss. Others are causing vestibular loss. Okay, that is uncoordination in the balance. Okay, and others can cause either problems. It can cause both hearing loss also, and it can cause balance and coordination problems. Aminoglycoside antibiotics, they can enter the inner ear through the blood system. Okay, by if we have to give injections, okay, IV injections, then these antibiotics, these drugs, they can enter into the inner ears. Or it can enter also by diffusion from the middle ear to the inner ear. So by a diffusion process, okay, from the middle ear to the inner ear also it can be transferred, and it will damage the nerves. They enter the bloodstream in largest amounts. So like IV injections. Okay, when we have to give IV injections, then it will enter the bloodstream in a large amount when given IV, and in the least amount by capsule or pills, or meaning orally. Okay, so majority of these antibiotics are entered into the blood system by IV injections, and these by giving IV injections, majority of these drugs they will try to enter into the ears, okay, and will cause toxic poisoning to the ears and damages the nerves. So there are some examples of aminoglycoside antibiotics. So very common antibiotics here are amikacin, which are commonly used in the hospital, netilmicin, dihydrostreptomycin, ribostomycin, gentamicin, streptomycin, kanamycin T, obramycin, and neomycin. So these are some of the examples of aminoglycoside antibiotics, and these are some of the antibiotics which are commonly used in the hospital. So we have to be very careful while we have to give these injections, because these are ototoxic drugs. Next, coming to loop diuretics. Okay, so loop diuretics we all know as water pills. Okay, they also are ototoxic drugs which causes temporary ototoxicity. Okay, so loop diuretics causes temporary ototoxicity, whereas aminoglycoside antibiotics causes permanent ototoxicity. These drugs or loop diuretics, they cause ringing in the ears, tinnitus, or decreased hearing, deafness, that reverses when the drug is stopped. So when we stop the drugs or when we stop these loop diuretics, then patient can go back into the normal stage. Okay, so it is a temporary ototoxicity. So some examples of loop diuretics are, the very common loop diuretic is Lasix, or we call it as furosemide. Other loop diuretics are bumetanide, or the trade name is Bumix, ethacrynic acid or Edicrin, and torsemide or Demodex. So these are some of the examples of loop diuretics, and they are very ototoxic drugs, and they cause temporary ototoxicity. Now coming to the third type, is the third list is cytotoxic drugs, or we call it as antineoplastic drugs. So these are anti-cancer drugs. They the main aim of anti-cancer drugs is to kill the cancer cells. Okay, so unfortunately, some of these drugs they kill or damage the cells elsewhere in the body, including ears. So not only they kill the cancer cells, okay, but they also kill the neighboring tissues, the neighboring cells, and the other parts of the body, including the ears. So anti-cancer drugs are ototoxic drugs. So a very well known anti-cancer drugs like cisplatin, it causes massive and permanent hearing loss. Then next cancer drug is anti-cancer drugs is carboplatin. Carboplatin is also known to be ototoxic. So other examples of cytotoxic drugs are nitrogen mustard, cisplatinum, and carboplatin. So these are some of the anti-cancer drugs that causes ototoxicity in the humans. Next list is the antiprotozoal. Okay, antiprotozoal, like very common, is called quinine or chloroquine. Okay, so these are antiprotozoal drugs which causes temporary ototoxicity, which results in tinnitus. They may also reduce hearing, particularly when given at a high dose. So depending upon the dose also. Okay, if they are given at high dose, then it causes deafness. If they are given a low dose, then it causes tinnitus. Quinine products can also temporarily reduce balance ability. Once the aspirin or quinine is stopped, the ototoxicity generally disappears. So it is a temporary effect. Okay, so these quinine or aspirin, they cause temporary ototoxicity. But if they're given in high doses, then they cause hearing loss also. So some quinine products are chloroquine, quinidine, quinine including Quizal, and tonic water. So these are some of the antiprotozoal drugs. And aspirin also is also one of the ototoxic drugs. Next list is the anti-epileptic drugs, or we call it as anti-seizure drugs. A very common drug is phenytoin, or we call it as Eptoin. Okay, so phenytoin sodium or eptoin is also ototoxic drugs and causes ototoxicity. Next category is beta blockers. Beta blockers like propranolol, atenolol, okay, metoprolol. So these are some of the antihypertensive drugs which causes ototoxicity. There are also some environmental chemicals like mercury, lead, carbon disulfide, carbon monoxide, tin, manganese xylene, or butyl nitrate. So these are some of the environmental chemicals that also causes ototoxicity. Little research has been done to substantiate their precise effect on ears, but most are associated with hearing disturbances and they cause permanent hearing loss. This is not only temporary, but it causes a permanent ototoxicity. And mercury also, so some of these chemicals or some of these agents are ototoxic drugs. Now the route of access. So like I said that by IV injections also some of the drugs they can enter into the ears and they can enter the inner ear and cause a damage to the nerves, auditory nerves and the vestibulocochlear nerve. So the ototoxic effects can be produced usually by parenteral administration, that is by IV injections, intravenous injections. Oral administration in the form of capsule, in the form of tablets or pills, or topical application in the form of cream, lotion to the ears, or in the form of eardrops. Okay, application to the ears, wounds, burns can also cause toxicity. So these are some of the routes of access. Now coming to the clinical manifestation. The signs and symptoms ranges from mild to severe. So it can be from mild tinnitus or mild ringing of ears to permanent hearing loss. It depends upon the person to person. It also depends upon the dosage of the drug. If you're given less dose, then the effect is less. But if you're giving high dose of ototoxic drugs, then it causes permanent hearing loss. And also it depends upon the level of exposure to ototoxin. They can include one-sided or two-sided hearing. So only one side of the ear is affected. The patient will have one side of the ear deafness and the other ear is normal. Or they can have both the sides of the ear are deaf. Okay, and also it also includes constant or fluctuating tinnitus. So it can this ringing of ears can be constant. Okay, it can be it occurs every time, or it can be fluctuating, meaning that it happens today, then tomorrow it doesn't happen, the day after it happens, so it is fluctuating. The episodes are fluctuating. Next, signs and symptoms. High-pitched tinnitus is often the earliest symptom. So a high-pitched ringing of the ears will be one of the first symptom of ototoxicity. Next, patient will have sensory neural deafness and patient will have vertigo. Okay, vertigo is because of the damage in the vestibulocochlear nerve, that is for maintaining the balance and coordination. Coming to the assessment and diagnosis, the diagnosis is based upon the patient's history, based upon the signs and symptoms and the test results. There is no specific test for ototoxicity. This makes a positive history for ototoxin exposure crucial to the diagnosis. So that's why we have to take the history of the patient. What medications has the patient been taking? If the patient is taking any antihypertensive drugs like propranolol, metoprolol, atenolol, or any of the antibiotics. Okay, so history is very, very important. Now coming to the treatment, there is no treatment to cure the damage, or there is no treatment to cure the permanent hearing loss. So the currently available treatments focuses on reducing the effects of damage and rehabilitate the function. Medical or surgical treatment is usually not effective. The use of ototoxic drugs should be avoided wherever possible. So we should try to avoid such drugs, okay? Whether it is antibiotics, whether it is beta blocker agents, whether it is anti-epileptic agents or any chemical agents like mercury, okay, lead, tin, or any other ototoxic drugs. Specifically, individuals with hearing loss, they may be helped with hearing aids. So we can, for those patients who are deaf, who are having permanent hearing loss, they can be provided with hearing aids implanted, or we can provide with cochlear implants. Next, usual treatment given for sudden sensory neural deafness can be advised. Withdrawal of ototoxic drugs may prevent further damage in early cases. So uh, you have to stop the usage of ototoxic drugs. Hearing aids can be given to the patient. They can be advised for improving the hearing, and cochlear implants patients are given with profound bilateral sensory neural deafness. So patients who are having sensory neural deafness, okay, both sides. It can be both the left ear and the right ear. So such patients we can advise for cochlear implants. Okay. So these are the pictures. This is the hearing aid. Okay. This is being placed on the side of the patient, and this is the ear mold is being put inside the in the patient's ear. So there is a microphone, okay, there is a speaker, there is an amplifier, okay, there is a battery. This is called the ear hook, okay, which is being placed just above the ears, and this is the ear mold. Ear mold is being put into the ears. So this is a hearing aid, and this is a and we also have the cochlear implants. So these are some of the managements for hearing loss. So I hope you've understood about the topic for today. It is very simple topic. Okay, so you have to remember what are the ototoxic drugs, what are the antibiotics that causes ototoxicity, okay, and what are the signs and symptoms of ototoxicity. Okay, when the ototoxic drugs are affecting the ears, and what are the patient's signs and symptoms, that also we have to remember. So we have come to the end of the topic. I hope you have understood. Thank you, class.